Well, welcome to another Wow Word of the Week. Our word this week, the word value, always thinking about this life, pointing us to the life to come with written copy on my website. The word value. Have you ever felt like sparrow number 5? In Matthew 10:29, Jesus assures his followers that the Father sees everyone and everything, even the sparrows that are sold 2 for a penny. His point, do not fear, you are of more value than the sparrows. In Luke 12:6, Jesus said that God remembers even the sparrows that are sold 5 for 2 pennies. What happened? Looks like the seller threw in one more sparrow to make the deal. Normally 2 for a penny, but here is a buyer seeking a bargain. Okay, I'll throw in an extra sparrow. So my question, do you ever feel like sparrow number 5? Your life doesn't matter. No one notices. No one appreciates you. Without value, without worth. My mother was fond of saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and in parallel, value is also in the eye of the beholder. Jan and I own a grandfather clock that she inherited from her parents. If you're watching the video, you can see a picture of that clock. Her parents gave it to us about 35 years ago. They had bought the clock at a farm sale, I think for $25. The case is not particularly ornate. The clock face is a little tarnished, cannot be repaired. And when we got the clock did not chime correctly. We brought it home, cleaned it up a bit, polished the wood, managed to get it working, chiming and counting the hour, but wouldn't run for over a day or two. A few years later, we found a man who said he could fix it. He tinkered with it. We brought it home. It worked better than before, but it still wasn't right. And across the next 15 years, we took the clock to several different clock repair shops. And even though it did not work right, once one of those shops offered us $75 for the clock. Well, we kept the clock, and 15 years ago, we had just moved to a new work in the university. Our new home had just the right place for the clock. We decided to try to get it fixed one more time. We took it to a repair shop. The repairman said that he was behind. It would be several weeks, perhaps a couple of months, before he could get to our clock. 4 days later, he called and said he was ready to bring the clock to our home and set it up for us. And we arranged for him to come the next morning. We asked him why he had repaired the clock so quickly. In his conversations with us, we learned that he was not your average repair person. He was, in fact, quite an expert. He explained to us that he took time to look at our clock after we dropped it off. He became so intrigued that he just kept working on it, even spending a couple of long evenings after the shop closed. It turned out that the clock is very old, from the 1800s, most likely from the Civil War era. He explained to us that the age of the clock could be determined from the way it was designed on the inside. He showed us all kinds of unique features. And he estimated that the clock had a value of between $1,000 and $1,500, perhaps even more. Same plain case, same tarnished face, not particularly impressive outwardly. The clock plays only the traditional Westminster chime. Its value, $25. No, 3 times that value, $75. $75? No, 20 times that value. And what's the difference? The difference was the place, a farm sale, an inexperienced repair shop, an expert clock repair man. The difference was the person who was evaluating the clock, what that person could see, the person placing the value. You are of infinite worth to God, so valuable that he sent his son for you. But in our daily life, in our spiritual life, we're not worth very much if we're not in the right place. So I would like to say that if you're not appreciated, do not become angry. That simply means you're not yet in the right place. Don't stay in a place where your value is not seen. And a spiritual lesson for us in the church. May we see every person through God's eyes, see value, communicate value, build value. May the church be a place where people are convinced of their true worth, even the least, the most unlovable, the most needy, the most unlikely. That's the kind of church that I want to be a part of. Thank you for sharing this time. Sorry for perhaps a little longer word of the week, perhaps a value. Remember that God loves you. I love you. That's the way it's going to be. May we go forth, helping other people see their great value in the eyes of our God. God bless.